And for the next panel discussion, the crucial role of CFOs in managing businesses, crises, and turnarounds, navigating uncertainty with agility and strategic leadership. For this, I would request our moderator for the session, Mr. Naveen Bhadada, Chief Financial Officer, Sugar Cosmetics, and the co-panelist, Mr. Ashish Jain, CFO, Lumina Datamatics, Mr. Ajit Pratap Singh, CFO, Sterling and Wilson Renewable Energy, Mr. Peeyush Gupta, Group CFO, Viterra India, Mr. Mahadev Karnik, CFO Lakshmi Organic Industries Limited, Mr. Ankit Lodha Jain, CFO KALKI Fashion Private Limited. Huge round of applause for all of them.
Good evening. We'll start. First of all, thanks. Thank you so much for providing this opportunity to have this panel discussion. As you can see, the topic for the panel discussion is crucial role of CFOs in managing business crisis and turnarounds, navigating uncertainty with agility and strategic leadership. I would request my co-panelists to have a short introduction for themselves before we begin for the session.
Thank you. Hi, this is Peeyush. I'm the CFO for Viterra India. We are into agricultural processing and trading.
Hi, this is Ashish Jain. I'm CFO and Head Europe Sales of Lumina Datamatics. Lumina Datamatics is mainly a KPO, and we are mainly into the content business, where global publishers and online retailers are our customers.
Hi everyone, Ankit Lodha this side from KALKI Fashion. It's a D2C ethnic wear brand, working as a CFO with them. Thank you.
Hi, good afternoon. Ajit Pratap Singh, Chief Financial Officer of Sterling and Wilson Renewable Energy Limited. Sorry, I am Ajit Pratap Singh, Chief Financial Officer of Sterling and Wilson Renewable Energy Limited. The company is the solar EPC company.
Thank you so much. To begin with the session, in today's world, CFO's role have evolved from a traditional finance managers to a strategic business partners, leading digital transformation while managing both crisis situations and day-to-day financial operations. Modern CFOs serves as a strategic advisors, utilizing advanced analytics and cross-functional collaboration to navigate business crisis and turnaround. Let me start the discussion with Peeyush from yourself. In terms of you as a CFO, what role do CFOs play as first responders in the times of crisis?
Yeah, Naveen, thanks for the question. I think it's really important one. See, what I've seen in my life is the CEOs are the poster boys when it is a growth phase. Market leadership, street guidance, investor relations, board of directors. When you are in a good times, CEO is the one people looks at it. But when things happen, the boat rocks, then it's people look up to the CFO because they are the one who are expert in navigating those tough times. I still remember, so I'll cite a couple of examples from my past life, like how I have seen my seniors who have managed the crisis and how I am managing the crisis when I'm into the leadership role. But the critical important thing when to navigate these crises is cash is really important. The cash flow management, or someone can say that the cash conservation is really, really important. Cost negotiations, cost takeouts is really which keeps the business going on. You have to cut the fat wherever you are, and I believe CFO understand the business as well as the numbers where they can play a very, very important role. like I was saying in the last presentation of Vimal, is he was mentioning about the capital, the access to the capital. Capital is something which is the CEO is expected to raise the capital, and he has to deploy the capital in a fashion that it is earning the maximum return for the investors and the shareholders. So a few of the things I believe all of us have seen, those demonetization, COVID, those are the few crises which I believe everyone has seen in their life. I used to work in a retail company when I was in COVID, and I think Naveen and KALKI can see that, can just vouch to what I was going to explain. When COVID hit, I was in Bata, and more than 50% sale was in cash, and it came to the grinding halt. Nobody has the cash. There was a demand, but nobody has it, right? So how to just bring people and try to see? So those are the out of the box thinking ideas when we all pitched in, and I just saw somewhere that RBI does allow to swipe your card at a store and withdraw 2,000 rupees. This was RBI norm. Anyone can come to the store, just swipe the card and take 2,000 from us like an ATM. So we, being a large corporate, we just used our muscle power with the banks and took those cash from them. And we were asking our customers, you come, you swipe, and you take. And in the meanwhile, we were just trying to sell the shoes. That's how we were just keep the wheel moving, to keep the cash coming in. Because in retail, you guys can just vouch that a day sale is gone. You can't recoup that day's sale, right? Similarly, when COVID came, everything was zero. We were again primarily brick and mortar company. We hardly have any online presence, and cash was zero. And everybody was asking about the money. Fortunately, we were having cash, but we have to really deploy so much of strategies that how to use that cash, right? Everybody is asking the landlords. We used to have more than 800 crores of the rentals, which I personally sat with the landlord for the rental renegotiation. We invoked force majeure clause. Some accepted, some didn't accept. So what I'm saying is, in crisis, you have to fire all engines. Wherever you see a thing in which I believe CFOs are well prepared, because they know what the business is. They know where the cash is and where the cost is. Yeah, that's what my 2 cents on it.
I can 100% resonate with you, Peeyush, when you said that in the times when the growth is happening, CEOs are the poster boys of the company, but in the time of crisis, everyone turns on the CFO's office to make sure that the navigation happens. Many thanks for reminding. Coming to Ashish, to you in terms of how you think CFOs should collaborate with CEOs and other CXOs during business turnarounds. What's your views on that?
Yeah, I think if you look at the role of the CFOs, where they are at the nerve center in the entire organization, and they have access to all the information, they have accessibility with all the stakeholders. So they are better placed to do or to be helpful in any kind of initiatives for the organization. And business turnaround is the most important initiative. So CFO can do the 2 things in case of a business turnaround. Either he can initiate the business turnaround, or if CEO, some other stakeholders are initiating the turnaround, he can be instrumental, he can be important part in that entire business turnaround. So in nutshell, you can't avoid CFO in any kind of a business turnaround. He's quite instrumental, he's quite capable, accessible for doing all these kind of a business turnaround. But you need a different type of capabilities if you want to make yourself helpful and if you want to make the entire turnaround successful. First of all, there should be a flexibility in you. There should be you should be agile enough to talk to the different stakeholders, to discuss the entire plan, to share the vision with the CEO, and then communicate that common vision to all the other relevant stakeholders. Then these business turnarounds can be helpful, and these business turnarounds will produce their desired results. So I can give my example. So in our case, we have separate divisions. But one of the division which was giving a good revenue, around 40% of the revenue was coming from that division. But it was not generating margins. So the margins, the contribution of margin of that division was in the range of 2%. So that's why the entire organization margin was in a single digit. Then we created a plan to turn around that entire business division. And since we are into the IT business, so outsourcing is the most important thing. Then there was a complete plan, there was a complete study. First we did, and I took the responsibility of that entire, executing that entire plan. And then first I did the entire study. What are the reasons why there is a loss when the revenue is there? Then why there is a loss which is not generating margins and all. So the entire reason was that lots of work was getting done on site. So rather than doing the work from India or maybe from the offshore location, the work was getting done from on site. So that was the entire reason of that reduction in the losses. But the important point is how to execute that plan, because it touch base lots of human elements where you have to talk to the on-site team, you have to talk to the offshore team, you have to see whether the offshore team is capable to do such kind of a task at the reduced cost. So it was a complete stakeholder management, and it was a complete study which was to be done to make that task helpful and successful. So we did all these kind of a study. We had a discussion with the on-site team. We had a discussion with the offshore team. And we have to involve all the stakeholders. It's not the case that you can do turnarounds in isolation, or the CFO can work on its own in isolation in the organization. You have to involve each and every people. So whether it's HR, whether it's COO, whether it's from technical side, whether it's from the admin side. So everywhere, everyone you have to involve. Then any kind of initiative will be can be successful. The same was taken by us also. And then we had a conversation with the on-site team. We had a conversation with the offshore team. There was an entire incentive plan which was made, that if this entire thing was successful, then there will be proper incentivization plan across the board because of this success. There was a change in the KRAs, there was a change in the technology, there was a change in the way finance is creating the report, finance is creating the dashboard. So all around change were required. So that's the important thing, that CFO can surely play a great role in the business turnaround, but there should be a participative approach, there should be a coordinated approach with the relevant stakeholders to achieve the desired outcome of the business turnaround.
Absolutely agree with what you said, Ashish, that CFOs have the access to each and every information, and I think they are the best suited person in the organization to help business turnaround. Coming to you, Ankit, in terms of how can CFOs inspire confidence among employees when business is under pressure?
Yeah, thanks, Naveen. I think pressure, every business has different kind of, pressures. I am into retail and largely catering to the US D2C customers as well through our website. So recently, like tariff has been, come into picture. Orders were in hand. Of course, they are going to take some time, and that is the additional cost which no one can imagine to cover from the margin side also, like 25 or 40% kind of tariffs. So pressure can come internally and externally from anywhere. Like future is really unpredictable in day to day as well. So CFO role, I think, comes into a picture when something which is unpredictable has come in the picture, and now CFO has a role to first stabilize the thing and then move towards the inspiring, the audience, like internal stakeholders as well as the external stakeholders. Like in our case, when the business has hampered around 40% from that particular channel, immediately we took a step. We discuss internally with the teams, with the cross functions. We analyze our capabilities regarding logistics, preparation of the goods and everything, and we shifted our mode on the importer on record mode. So there will be third party, import from our side, and we will be build to ship to model kind of thing we implemented. And this is the thing where everyone expects from CFO, they come, they acknowledge what happens wrong in the past, what can be the right pathway for the future, what are the exact numbers and data from on which the right decisions can be taken. So CFO has a critical, and of course, acknowledging the mistakes or whatever challenges we are accepting in the system is also a role of a CFO. So talking with the numbers is one thing, but building that trust within our own, core internal teams kind of, like they sometimes they also lose confidence. Sometimes they also like in recent case, I give you one more example. We recently raised round one from a private equity investor, and I remember the 3 days before, our bank balance was not enough to pay the next month's salary on the first. So this was crisis. Inventory has been, building up because of season has been in the next 2 or 3 months, and here we were struggling to get the fundraise closed. Fortunately, means first of all, the confidence of the employees were there, like their job security issues and other salary like issues. They were keep discussing what will happen, how much runway we have, what their everybody has their own concern like family wise or something. Then we built up the confidence. We keep discussing with them uh, how to navigate, the company, where we actually stands, what has been wrong, now what we are correcting. And fortunately, by everyone efforts, we closed that round. And in fact, 28th of the month, we received the funds credit in our account. And there has been a long runway now with the company. So crisis and challenges will be there, and CFOs are known to drive, innovation with the transparency, with the confidence. And I think everyone would vouch this thing day-to-day basis. Even we are much more better in building confidence in our family when we are not able to reach at our social, every social occasions or invitations. कहीं पे पहुंचना होता है, नहीं पहुंच पाते हैं, तो भी हमको कॉन्फिडेंस देना पड़ता है उनको, भाई पहुंच जाएंगे, आप स्टार्ट कीजिए. So like that, CFO has their own, responsibility and transparency, and presenting the right figures, acknowledging the mistakes, and keeping, all the teams together for a common goal is also one of unique thing which CFO can bring into the system. So apart from the figures of balance sheet, I think humanity and transparency and confidence, which is CFO is known for. Thank you.
I can vouch for it, Ankit, because I also come from that same environment, in a startup environment. When you're about to raise a fund and your bank balance doesn't allow you for a higher runway, the kind of restlessness and the kind of confidence building measures we as a CFO have to build in the organization is immense, and I can see that journey, Ankit. During the crisis, one of the many things which happens and on the CFO's desk is the entire position on liquidity management, cash management, and that becomes a very challenging part. So building upon that, may I ask Ajit to share your views in terms of how should the CFOs approach the liquidity and the cash flow management during the period of uncertainty?
Thank you. So in this your fast changing business environment, I think uncertainty is the new norm. Nothing is certain. And as CFO, in case of any crisis or any uncertainty, I think we should have our scenarios ready. At least 3 scenarios, I'll say: best scenario, medium scenario, and worst scenario. In terms of revenue or cash inflows, we should be a little conservative in terms of when we are forecasting. And in terms of outgo and expenses, it should be more realistic. And accordingly, we should monitor very regularly, daily, in case of crisis, daily, weekly, and monthly at least. In terms of capital allocation, also should be a little conservative in that case. First, we should prioritize the statutory payments which is the most important. Second, I think the banking related payments, because that is also almost as good as statutory payment. In case of any default, the entire business can be at a risk. And then of course employee salary and those business payments where you can get the cash flows faster. Few other avenues which can be explored, like elongating your credit period from vendors to negotiate with them, negotiate with your customers, meet them, and try to get the faster realization of your receivables. In certain cases, if your retention money is logged, you can discuss with your customer and get that unlocked by providing some sort of corporate guarantee or bank guarantee, if that is a feasible option. Other options can be explored, like vendor finance solutions, M1 Exchange, RXIL, and a lot of private entities there in vendor financing. Doing factoring of receivables, elongating the tenor of LCs, give the Ujans LC and get a little higher credit period. So those are the various options which can be explored. In case of any litigations, you can try to settle, or you can also try to sell the litigation itself and get the money realized to manage your cash flows. So in terms of where there is uncertainty and in terms of crisis, these are the various avenues, I think, which can be explored to keep the company running and then manage those uncertainty.
Yeah. So as we all know, we keep calling that cash is king. And in many of the examples which Ajit spoke about, I can correlate that in our organization also. At times we call it as that, bring the king or preserve the king. So either you bring the cash or you preserve the cash so that you have a longer runway to, sustain the business. Just a follow-up question again on this part, Ajit. What leadership qualities you see are essential for the CFO in crisis navigation?
So I think first CFO should be a good communicator. In case of any crisis, CFO need to communicate to the internal world as well as the external world, like your customers, vendors, your board, your investors, banks, internally with your employees, and to make them, like, give comfort to them. You should be patient in terms of hearing. You should listen others' views also. Good in cross collaboration with other departments, other CXOs, and have a proper mitigation plan. And more so, he should be good in terms of financial analysis and working on various scenarios and more closely monitoring those scenarios to ensure that the risk is getting mitigated over a period.
Yeah. Coming to you, Peeyush, in terms of the period of uncertainty, one of the major roles which the finance function and CFO in particular does or executes is the entire process of scenario planning. Yeah, we have to create a lot of scenarios. All of us would have gone through the process of budgeting at some point in time in our careers, which means that we have to do a lot of scenario planning to make sure that we have plan A. Typically, organizations prepare plan B, but very few people in the organizations know that CFO has even plan C and plan D and plan E, right? So what's your view on how can CFOs use scenario planning to prepare for uncertainty?
No, I think what you rightly said, we all love doing the modeling, making the numbers, playing with the numbers. So scenario planning is definitely a very, very important part. And that's, again, I'll cite the example of COVID only, that we really learned the importance of scenario planning, right? So when COVID hit, like I told you just that we were I was in a retail company and there was zero inflow on cash. So we really, and we were a listed company, so we have to report to the street. Mutual funds, out of 100%, 49% of our is a public shareholding, out of which 35% is owned by the big mutual fund houses, right? So they were really panicky about what is going to happen about our investment, right? Because they have bought it at a very, very high valuation and they were expecting a downside. And they said, we have to report to our investors. So you give us a clarity. So in April 2020, I remember I was making a scenario every day. It was so much requirement. Some CEO is asking some question, CFO is asking, global CFO is asking something else. I was really, really pissed off that what I'm doing right now, right? Whether what I'm making is making sense or not. So what we did, I sat with the India CEO and the CFO and I told him that let's make three. Let's make the best case scenario where we were talking about that the lockdown will be over after 3 weeks, right? Let's make a very, very pessimistic scenario. Say after 6 months, there is nothing. That is going to be very, very painful period for us. And let's make a realistic one, which we believe it should be there. And let's be honest, and let's speak with the stakeholders accordingly, and let's make one version only. There can't be two versions. Like for investor ke liye ye hai, global ke liye ye hai, and market ke liye ye hai. No, it doesn't work like that. Like you guys said, like when you talk to your Ps, your investors, you have to be transparent. You have to be communicative, which I believe once you have a full control on your number and you don't make more than three should be good enough. Like he says, A, B, C, से काम हो जाता है. Till the end of the day, as a good CFO, you shouldn't, first of all, you shouldn't be doing your B. If you do, don't go more than C. Then that means you are not doing your job. So scenario planning does really help you because it helps you to stress test your numbers. It helps you to reiterate your assumptions, and it helps you to communicate what you are thinking and make the course correction. That is, I believe, that's what I learned about it.
Yeah, so as a CFO, as you rightly said, things do keep coming to our desk in terms of plan A, plan B. And, the better we can manage the entire scenario planning, I think we have a better ability to navigate the crisis in case it happens to be. Coming to you, Ashish, in terms of what's your views on how do the CFO first responds in the times of crisis? So what is the kind of things which the CFO has to respond as a first responder when it comes to crisis?
So I think regarding the first response, I take the role of a doctor in the emergency department. So CFO should take the role. In the hospital, there is an emergency department. If something happens, so what that doctor does. So similarly, first they check whether the fuel is available, whether the entire instruments, whether the entire checking instruments are all available. So that is the first thing which CFO should also do. That in case of a crisis, the important fuel for any of the company is the cash, which everybody emphasize and everybody understand the need for the cash. But at the time of crisis, the need for that cash calculation and the cash forecasting is very, very high. So the first important thing which anybody or any CFO should do in case of a crisis is the conserve cash, check cash, and do all kind of a scenario planning and forecasting relating to the cash. That is the most important thing. Then other thing like any normal doctor do is check the other senior doctors or help the other senior doctors in taking the important decisions. So in case of a crisis, normally we should work in collaboration, because by working in collaboration, you will be able to face that crisis in a better manner. So you should come out from your normal finance profile role, and then you should also help all the other stakeholders in resolving the crisis, checking how we can help together to come out from that crisis. So that is the another important thing. And the third important thing is the managing the communication, because the communication is the most important thing. And normally in case of a crisis, the people have a trust on the CFO regarding the communication and regarding the communication for the real situation. So what is the real situation in the company? So whether we have enough cash, whether we have enough fund in our organization. So how to manage that kind of a communication internally to the employees, as well as since CFO also deal with the external world, so they have to communicate with the investor, they have to communicate with the bank. So they have to fulfill the compliance also in lots of areas where the first responsibility of communication lies with the CFO. For example, insurance. For example, cyber security. So other cases where the right communication at the right time is also very, very important. So that also should be looked at very, very carefully, that how to communicate internally as well as how to communicate externally about the crisis. So I think these are the most important thing which lies on the shoulder of CFO at the time of a crisis, that how to manage the crisis and how to come out from these crises.
I really liked the analogy which he used, like, CFO's office being synonymous to a emergency ward in a hospital, and when the patient is admitted into the emergency ward, then how the doctors and the staffs coordinate, act with speed and precision to make sure that the patient is live. Superb analogy. My last question, Deepak, to you in terms of, he briefly spoke about communication. He briefly spoke about stakeholders, be it internal, be it external. So what do you think in terms of strategies that helps the CFOs rebuild trust with stakeholders after a turnaround?
Hello. Yeah, thanks, Naveen, for the question. Uh, Turnaround is something which uh, anybody doesn't expect that what would be the future phase of the turnaround. Like recently in our case, family-run business got a PE investment, and all the things has started turning around. There was a cultural shift. There was a strategic shift for the organization. There was a shift of uh, people mindset to process mindset. Uh, Compliances things has been vital important for the organization. Uh, Looking at the innovation requirements, our partners has been changed and upgraded in that thing. So turnaround is something where CFO plays a role not only in the turnaround but post turnaround. I think building the confidence in the new systems, new infrastructure, and encourage the different analogies, innovations, governance things, building trust within the employees who were there in the system for long years, following up the same process or traditional processes. So where the CFO role plays come into the picture when um, corporate governance becomes the highest priority. All the shifts they have to manage externally and internally, and that is where CFO major role is. Uh, they cater to the external investors, understands the requirements, and then they align the cross functional teams. So apart from the numbers in balance sheet, I think CFO plays a major role in building trust with setting up the right, board meetings, processes, communication channels. So I just give you an example. We pre-investment, our company was completely running on WhatsApp and Telegram communication channel. But I understand when there is a PE investments, then certain requirements are from compliance side. But these small things we now need to take care, and every communication we ensure that it's over email or formally recorded. So shifting of mindset, shifting of the system, shifting of the processes, culture, communication, shifting of anything can be the turnaround. And CFO, I think they encourage the innovation always in their portfolio, but it is something which is beyond, cultural things uh, where you have been working in a manner since long years in a system. Now it's a completely turnaround. I think CFO has a major role to that area.
Yeah, so thank you so much. To conclude the session, I think here are my three key takeaways from the session. So first is, act with speed and precision, the example which he gave of the hospital. So I think crisis demands immediate, decisive financial leadership. Hesitation costs survival. Yeah. So that's the first key takeaway. Second, of course, everyone spoke about communication. So communicate with transparency. Stakeholders' confidence depends on honest, data-driven communication with consistent delivery. And last but not the least, of course, build for tomorrow. So you create a system, you create an organization which lasts forever. So you create something and build for tomorrow. So thank you so much, all my co-panelists. It was wonderful talking to you. Thank you
Thanks.
so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. And to do the honors, I would request Mr. Vimal Lodha, CFO PSIPL, to do the felicitations. Starting with the moderator, Mr. Naveen, Sugar Cosmetics. Next up, Mr. Ashish Jain, CFO Lumina Datamatics. Mr. Ajit Pratap Singh, CFO Sterling and Wilson Renewable Energy. Mr. Peeyush Gupta, Group CFO Viterra India. Mr. Mahadev Karnik, CFO Lakshmi Organic Industries Limited. Mr. Ankit Lodha Jain, CFO KALKI Fashion Private Limited. I would request everyone to take a center stage for a group picture, please. Thank you so much, everyone.